If you were born in the 70s or 80s, you're a PIMO, and you have kids, you are repeating history! Behold, the December 2025 Watchtower, where we're seeing the next generation of innocent minds be manipulated, coerced, and exploited by an organization that their parents, which would be you in this case, has failed to protect them from. I know somebody out there's gonna be like, bitch, you don't have kids. I have 2 teenagers that I raised for 10 years, who just so happened did not come from my uterus, but damn it if they're not living in a cult-free home. Let's do a little walk down memory lane of the 5 things that screwed us up, shall we? Number 1, disturbing propaganda. My book of Bible stories, what childhood nightmares were made of. They've since heavily sanitized their indoctrination for children and replaced it instead with Learn from the Great Teacher, which still teaches blind obedience to authority and lays the foundation for them to become good little Watchtower soldiers. But they're now rotting your child's brain with this gem, Caleb and Sophia, a young brother and sister who are repeatedly berated and head-f***ed by their Gen X and millennial Jehovah's Witness parents. Tip of the iceberg. Let's continue. Number 2, confronting strangers. All right, let's go back to these 2 little angels here that we saw in the beginning in this Watchtower. Tagline says, "A father is reasonable in what he expects of his children in the ministry." Let me tell you what a father should expect of his children, especially children this young. Learning their ABCs, basic math and grammar, running around in shorts and a t-shirt being a kid, not being forced to confront strangers, peddling their parents' ideology. Let me tell you something else. Your kid came to my door with a sweater vest and a book bag looking like Unc, all right? At 5 years old, I'm inclined to call CPS. Don't do this to your kids. It's not cute, it's disturbing. This is what absolutely blows my mind. We don't hand minors the keys to the car, let them get tattoos, buy them a drink. Children do not have the ability to consent to a religious or political ideology. The organization trying to depict this happy scene of kids preaching, it's bullshit. No Jehovah's Witness kid ever enjoyed knocking on doors. Ever. It's unnatural, inappropriate, and especially if you're a PIMO parent, you should know better than to do this to your kid. And even if you're not that model Jehovah's Witness parent that's depicted in this photo, you're still raising your kid in this organization. This kid is still trapped, handing out tracts, doing the bidding of an organization that you don't even want to be a part of. You should know better. Number 3, public school. All right, so here's where it gets interesting. If you come from a really devout family, devout Jehovah's Witness family, they're PIMI, physically in, mentally in, like they're not PIMO, they're hardcore, public school is going to be hell because your little brain is being pumped with Watchtower BS indoctrination, and then you have to go to school and deal with that anxious soup in your brain. You have to preach to your classmates. So there's just a lot of pressure on Jehovah's Witness kids in public school. They make fun of you. Now let's say you didn't do any of that, but your PIMI, hardcore devout parents forced you or threatened death upon you if you were to celebrate holidays or someone's birthday in class, meaning like it's BS, you don't believe any of it, but your parents called your teacher ahead of time and just made life hell for you. I mean, we've all seen the infamous Caleb and Sophia episode where Caleb is not even allowed to eat a birthday cupcake lest he renounce his parents' faith. The result is sadness and social isolation. You're just that trapped, stuck Jehovah's Witness kid in school. Or, and this is where the PIMO comes in, if mom and dad are PIMO, they're living a double life. So what do you think the kid's gonna do? The kid's gonna make friends at school. They're gonna make friends with the neighbor kids or whatever. And then mom and dad is going to F their head up and say, well, now we have to go to the Kingdom Hall or we have to go out preaching. Now you have to go put on your Jehovah's Witness costume and pretend. Oh, sorry guys, we can't celebrate Halloween this year or Christmas this year because grandma and grandpa are going to come visit us, or our convention falls on a holiday and the kid's like, but we did it last year. Why can't we do it now? See, there's this disappointment and confusion in this back and forth. The PIMO mother and father are sending a conflicting message that's blurring boundaries when kids need clear boundaries the most. Number 4, they're weird about sex. Remember all those fun masturbation talks we had to sit through? How every damn meeting of our childhood, we were exposed to terms like sexual immorality, fornication, unclean, adultery. I'm 8 years old. I don't need to read about the moral implications of oral sex in a Watchtower. Yes, teach your kids about sex, stranger danger, all that stuff. Do what you gotta do. But also understand that their brains are gonna be scrambled at the Kingdom Hall. If you're raising them in a more liberal household, you have to understand if they pick up language and behaviors from you that then leak into the congregation, then maybe, little Ashlyn Luna starts kissing boys or more. At the Kingdom Hall, your little Ashlyn Luna is going to get reproved, called a slut, humiliated, and ostracized. But like, oh my God, mom and dad let me watch The Wolf of Wall Street at home during a Zoom meeting since they're such badass PIMO rebels. But now, what I've learned from their example has real-world consequences because mom and dad have one ass cheek on each side of the fence. And guys too, man, it messes them up. That's why so many in the organization are addicted to porn. No, this is not an endorsement of porn consumption. I'm saying you're taking your kid to the hall where sex is dirty. Don't think about it ever. Never touch yourself. You're like an effing bottle rocket ready to explode. So if you actually just left, once and for all, you teach them about safe sex and protection and all that stuff and the emotional implications of whatever you feel is important to tell your kid. You have the opportunity to give them a real-world sexual education, not what we grew up with. And considering the massive, chronic, systemic child sexual abuse problem that the organization has, God forbid something happens to your child. I gotta do another video about Jehovah's Witnesses and sex. Like, even if you leave the Jehovah's Witnesses, you still have very conservative views that you want to teach your child to wait until marriage. That's fine. That's not the argument. Jehovah's Witnesses are a different breed. There are people who wait for marriage, teach their kids to wait for marriage. The kid adopts those values and internalizes it and believes it. And that's great because they actually believe it. Most Jehovah's Witness kids, what they're being taught is an extremely sexually repressive message, which is why the organization has so many disfellowshippings or excommunications of people who have premarital sex. Watchtower is completely incapable of taking a nuanced approach to a complex subject, and their shitty, unhappy marriages, rebellious teenagers, and rates of divorce are proof. Number 5, brainwashing sessions, aka meetings. Every single time you step foot into a Kingdom Hall, that is time you are stealing from their childhood. I would have sympathy for you if you didn't realize you were in a cult. He knows not what he does. Yeah, but that's not what's happening with you. You don't want to suffer the fallout associated with being honest with your devout family. Can't help it, because of grandma and grandpa. Let me tell you something about grandma and grandpa. Gam Gam and G-Pa, whatever nonsensical name you've come up with, are miserable, brainwashed boomers who will put the organization over your child in a heartbeat. Gam Gam doesn't care about your kid. She doesn't care about you. We hated it. What are you doing, dude? Save the damn kids. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.